Well, this is the second of my two live broadcasts today. Capitalism saved us. Now, I know immediately some of you on the far left, your heads just exploded. And I knew Pastor Marty was like, I have never forsaken the idea that capitalism works. Are there is there corruption in capitalism? Absolutely. But I want to explain to you how capitalism saved us during the lockdowns. So, no. Look at what happened. Do you understand the money that Big Pharma made? I do. And did they make it through capitalism or did they make it through mandate? Think about it. Think about it. Capitalism works on supply and demand. Capitalism works on you got something that people really like, want, need, they're going to demand it. And you can make money based on the demand for it. Did Big Pharma get all of that influx of wealth by capitalism or by mandate that we could actually tie to, what's the word I'm groping for? Socialism. I have been one of those conservatives, and I still am. But I gotta do some splaining. This one might take a little while. I have been one of those conservatives that I have advocated for the concept of a nationalized healthcare. And I know some conservatives they lose their stuff when I talk this way. But I got to tell you, there were a couple of things that have caused me to really back away from that. Now, one, first and foremost, has always been name me one thing that the government does well. And it's a really short list. That would be zero. The government doesn't do anything well. Let me give you a personal example. I live in an area where obviously, my electricity as a utility is provided for me not by a private source. It is part of my local bureaucracy. They provide the utilities to our homes, electric, water, satara, satara, satara. For about a week or so, I've been trying to go on their website and pay my electric bill. And every time I clicked on the pay link, I got an error message. So the link was broken. I build websites. I know what that is. I actually sent them a couple of emails about it. Finally, when I realized they're not going to resolve this, I decided after living in this area for 5 years, I was going to have to actually go make an in-person payment. I've never done that since I've lived here. So I went to the building that, where my electrical utility bill generates from. And Shazam, Batman, the first thing I was told is I was in the wrong building. That the building I needed was blocks away because, what was I thinking? That the building that actually had the name of the place that provides the service that also sends me a bill, that's not where you pay. Stupid me. So I drove blocks away to this nondescript building. It was, I think at one time, probably an old school building back in the 1940s, 50s, and now it's an annex building. There was one sign on the whole building, and it just said something administrative, something or other. That was it. There were multiple entrance doors, but there was this one entrance that was where the sign was, and it had some things on the door, and that looked like, okay, this is where they're directing all the traffic. So I parked, walked through the parking lot to that door. Got all the way up to the door, and there was a little sign about that big on the door, use the north entrance. Okay. So I back away, and I'm now looking around this building to see if there's anything that indicates where the north entrance is. And I hear this voice from behind me. You gotta use the north entrance. And I turn around, here's this guy coming back from lunch, obviously worked there. And being a civil servant, he felt the need to say something. And I He actually started out by saying, "That's not the right door." Well, no ship, Sherlock. I saw that once I got all the way up to the door and saw the little sign telling me this is not the door. So I said to him, "You guys need to pretend that first-time visitors here, that we're all stupid and that we're directionally challenged." Yeah, I was in that kind of mood. I said, "How am I supposed to know? Am I standing in front of the east, west, south door? There's no indication of that anywhere. Here's an interesting idea. Whatever entrance it is that you want people to go in, how about you put a really big sign over that set of doors that says entrance?" And here's a really outrageous idea. Maybe somewhere on the lawn here, you could put a sign that says entrance with an arrow directing people where you want them to go. And then I got the civil servant stare. So I get to the billing department for my electric utility. And there's a guy right in front of me, and he's telling the cashier that he's been trying for a few days to pay the bill online, but the link is broken. And she's actually really snarky saying to him, "That tab doesn't even appear on the website anymore. We've updated it, and that tab isn't even there anymore." And I'm thinking, yeah, it is. Next to her is another cashier, but she's on the phone with a customer who is apparently saying, "Hey, I can't get the bill pay to work on the website." And she's telling them, "Well, you're doing it wrong, and that tab doesn't exist anymore." And I'm still in line. I said, "Well, that tab does exist, because I've been trying for a week and a half." And now I got both cashiers looking at me and the guy next to me, and they're now scolding us that we don't know what we're doing. Oh, really? Well, thank you so much for that. So the one cashier, when she finally begins to help me, she brings the website up because she's going to show me I'm wrong. And shazam, there's the link she said didn't exist anymore. And she clicked on it and she got the error. So, and now it's just dumbfounded because we were right. And then she says, "I'll have IT look into this." I said, "Let me get this straight. A week ago, IT updates the website for the department you oversee, payment processing. And you yourself never actually went on there to see if it worked." "Well, IT told us it did." I said, "But you yourself never went on there, yet you're arguing with me, you're arguing with him, you're arguing with the woman on the phone, and who knows how many other people who have called up here, and you have emphatically said, 'Yes, it works,' and we don't know what we're doing." See, that's that whole government in action. How would you like that handling your health care? "You are scheduled for heart removal." "No, I'm supposed to be here for a tonsillectomy." "It's a heart removal." What? So, number one thing, that the government doesn't do anything well. Number two, COVID and the vaccine and the mandates. Tell me now, if you're on the left and you believe in nationalized health care, government-controlled health care, tell me that I'm wrong when I say they would have tied your vaccine to health care, that if you refuse the vaccination, they would cut off your health care. This is why I don't like the government controlling anything. And again, in the end, it was capitalism that saved us. Why do you figure that? Because the demand was, look, when the science is finally acknowledged, it's here to stay, there are going to be some treatments available, pop a pill, get on with your life. You got even Fauci telling people, get on with your life. You got Dr. Wen over at CNN, who was one of those absolute just masked Nazis, now telling people to get on with your lives. Now the far left hates her because she realizes that she actually stunted the growth of her preschooler, that he has got speech development problems now because he couldn't see his teacher's mouth because it was covered. And now she's talking about the psychological damage we've done to children by making them wear the hat and making the teachers wear the hat. And shazam, Batman, her eyes have been open. Because you know what's driving all that? Capitalism. Businesses wanted to get back to doing business. Americans wanted to get back to life. Capitalism is what finally drove this thing forward. The mandates are not what saved you. I had to come on here and give that rant because some of you are like, well, the private sector isn't any better than the public sector. Now, I actually had a day yesterday, seriously. I had this whole thing at the utility company, and then later that day, I had an issue with a fast food place. I then ordered 3 chicken sandwiches. Took 40 minutes. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. But there is a difference. I will never go back to that fast food place again. I will never recommend any of my friends go to that fast food place. I will eat elsewhere. Capitalism gives me that choice. When I have a utility that doesn't function correctly, I only got one choice. The choice my local government gives me. See the difference? Understand the difference? So on that note, look up. Biden is imploding. He is. The media is lashing out and they are screaming and they are going berserk now over the fact that the tide has turned even on the Mar-a-Lago raid. They know what's coming. You hang in there. You keep the pressure on. You keep pushing forward.